Hello, book lovers. I'm Peg, the book prize addict, and I have an exciting thing again today, a two-person team effort to talk about the upcoming Pulitzer Prize Awards, upcoming this Monday, April 16th, in fact. A couple weeks ago, I had a message from the famous Steve Donoghue asking if I wanted to do some sort of joint report, buddy video on the upcoming Pulitzer Prizes. And you can imagine I was so delighted and honored. I thought, I ran in to tell my husband, ooh, Steve Donoghue wants to do a team effort with me on a prize. And I have mentioned before, my husband reads a lot, but all nonfiction. And truthfully, I think he watches more of Steve's videos than of mine. But anyway, he was pretty impressed, but he, for about a second actually, but then he said, I thought the Pulitzer Prize was more for journalistic type nonfiction efforts. And I like, oh yeah, I remembered hadn't heard a lot about it, but I found out a lot. I'm not gonna let this opportunity slip by. So, okay, so the plans are I was going to make a little introductory talk today, and then Steve has lots of inside information that he was going to give after it's awarded on Monday. But we've had a little bit of a tragedy. I heard from Steve yesterday. You might have noticed he hasn't been making videos the last couple days. And all his filming video equipment that would speak to YouTube has died, is how he puts it. And the poor guy, it sounds like he really misses. I think he misses it as much as his fans miss seeing him. But he didn't really give any prognosis of when things would be fixed or anything. So I'm a little bit nervous, but actually he'll be able to do his part anytime, because it's not that it's a surprise, and he'll have a lot of good inside information. But I was just thinking, if any of you Steve fans out there happen to have some spare video equipment that you're not using, I am sure Steve would do a wonderful trade with you and give you, if you sent him a live video maker, he would probably exchange a wonderful selection of books with you. So you might think about that, especially if you live in the Boston area. You could rush it right over to him. Okay, anyway, so we'll hear more from him hopefully soon. Anyway, okay, so the Pulitzer Prize. This is the 102nd year for the Pulitzer Prize. And it is named after Joseph Pulitzer, who was a newspaper publisher in New York in the late 1880s. And he was there at Columbia University. Incidentally, all the events around the Pulitzer take place at Columbia University, and that's where the judges meet and everything. Anyway, he did a lot for actually reshaping journalism during the late 1800s and early 1900s, and he had two key things that he really wanted to concentrate on, that he wanted journalism to concentrate on. He was very against dishonest government, so he thought journalism's place was to bring that to the forefront and do something about it. And he also was quite interested in the training of journalists. I guess before, just whoever wrote well could be a newspaper writer, and you hear a lot of authors of back then that just worked for a newspaper for a while. Anyway, he believed that there should be a college higher learning program for journalism, and actually started the Columbia School of Journalism. Okay, I'll do more of the history and the prizes in a minute. It was actually in his will that he set up the Pulitzer Prize, and now it has 21 different prizes. Back then it had, I think, about 8 or 9, but they were kind of the same categories. Some of them in pure journalism writing, and then some in the other arts. So I'll get to that in a minute. But first, I want to show you the party. Tell you about the Pulitzer Party. Now, this is as I said, the 102nd awarding of the Pulitzer Prize, but they must not have had a 100th anniversary, because this year they had a big party called the Pulitzer Prize's Next 100 Years. And this was held on March 27th at Michael's, which is a big restaurant, I think, in New York City. And everybody was there. There are many judges that work on different areas of the prize. And so they were all there, the administrators, and then everybody who had ever won a prize was, I think, invited. So we had many well-known figures there, and it was a big party. I have to show you a few things about it. The Pulitzer Prize, yeah, here's the picture of it. This is Dana Kennedy, a woman who was just elected to be the administrator of the prize, and she will be announcing the winners. And there have only been 7 in all the history of the prize, so it must be like a lifetime job. Anyway, she is the first woman and the first woman of color that will be the administrator and be announcing the prizes. As I said, this party had all kinds of well-known people. You can look in the web page or the website and see some of them. But one of my favorites was Robin Roberts was there, and that's, of course, Dana, the new administrator. And this man is Eugene Robinson, who's the chairman of the Pulitzer Prize Board. More from him in a minute. Okay, actually, and one of my favorites was there, Diane Sawyer. Now, we are about the same age, she and I. But I've followed her since she was junior Miss Kentucky, and I was a tall, skinny nerd in high school. But it's been fun to follow her through the years. And anyway, so she was there, and there's also a prize now for cartoons. So they had a cartoonist, former winning cartoonist, to do making caricatures of people, and I believe the man is a band leader. Anyway, so it looked like lots of fun. And the best part of all, they had a new signature cocktail named the Pulitzer Prize cocktail. Now, it gives the recipe on the website, but it's a whole bunch of fancy drinks that I didn't know go into it. But it even has a napkin, and you can't see it very well, but it's embossed in gold with the Pulitzer Prize. That would be a fun souvenir to have, wouldn't it? Okay, but supposedly you can go to this Michael's for the next so many months and order a Pulitzer Prize, and you'll get this drink. Okay, so back to the prize itself. It will be awarded at, they will start announcing all the 21 winners at 3 o'clock on Monday. And evidently newsrooms all over the country are getting together and watching this, because it can be any, most of the prizes are probably taken by the big newspapers, but a lot of times small newspapers in small towns win a Pulitzer. So I'm sure that, everybody who's works in the business at all is going to be busy watching this. I'm not sure if it's going to be live streamed, but you can bet that all the news media will be publishing it right away on Monday after we hear about it. Anyway, okay, I just wanted to say a little bit about the different prizes. Steve will know a lot more about the journalism prizes, I'm sure, and I'm sure he kind of knows some of the people, and I can't wait to hear some of his stories and thoughts on it. The process is really complicated as they get to this. There's no long list or short list to look at to kind of guess who will be in it. Anybody can enter. I think you pay $50 online, so they get a lot of online entries from small newspapers and all kind of media type things, and they have I think over 100 judges for different areas that they put forward 3 to the board, and then I don't know. Anyways, the board either accepts them or rejects them, and they come out with the only ones that we know are 3 of each category, the winner and then the other 2 nominations. So I've put a link to last year's prizes, the 2017 prizes, here from the webpage, so you can get an idea of some of the winners and some of the topics we have. Now this year's winners will be of anything published in 2017. So nobody, well, somebody probably has an idea who's going to win, like Steve, but most of us have no idea who's going to win. And I just want to say that they have 14 journalism prizes, and these are for everything from public service reporting, breaking news, investigative news, local, national, international news, critical news, anyway. So those are kind of probably the big topics, but they also have I think the rest of them, how many would that be? 21, 14, 7 prizes in the arts. And there's one on novel, a best novel. They have history, biography, what else? Photography, cartoons, poetry, and music. So I don't know much about any of those. I'm sure Steve will be able to talk at length about the nonfiction prizes there. But let's see, I thought I would talk just a little bit about the one that maybe I have a little bit of ability to guess on anyway, and that's the prize for best fiction. Now, it's kind of well known that often they will pick a prize or a book that hasn't been in the public view much and kind of comes out from nowhere, but hasn't looked like they've done that recently. In the 2017, Underground Railroad won. It had won many prizes along the way. And in 2016, The Sympathizer came, and it is an immigrant story about a Vietnam officer who comes to California and his problems there. So I would, if you keep in mind that the big topics these days seem to be racial issues and immigrant issues, I have a feeling that either Sing Unburied Sing might win or Exit West. Now Steve is not going to be happy with either of these. I've mentioned several times, I don't mind, I'm like okay with Sing Unburied Sing. I love the, what they call it, road trip from hell section, but I'm not crazy at all about the speculative part of it. What I would really like to see win is Lincoln and the Bardo, which won the Man Booker Award in England, but it's of course about our President Lincoln, and it's not hardly been noticed at all here in the U.S. So anyway, I'll be watching, and hopefully Steve will be back on track and be able to put in his 2 cents or more. And I hope your equipment gets well soon, Steve. We miss you. Okay, bye.